Hello, and welcome to Fireside Chat, where we discuss mindsets, routine, and home essentials that will facilitate you living in alignment with your creativity. Tonight, I'll be speaking with Ami Blackford and Sage the Garden Fairy about the big bad destroyers. Grab a delicious beverage and join us for Live Life Creatively in Episode 2, Dreamstealers. Ami, welcome back to the studio. It's always so good to see you. You're looking very refreshed, if I might say. Give our listeners a little background around tonight's topic. Why is it an important one for creatives to understand? Sola, thank you so much. It's great to be back. I always enjoy our little breaks because it makes me excited to come back into the studio. So this topic is really important because creatives are sensitive. Our creations are, a lot of people will compare them to having a baby. Now, people with children that aren't creative might say, hey, wait, back up. But when you are a creator, when you are somebody that works on creative projects, that is the level of love that you do put into it. And that is how it feels. That's how I always feel about one of my books when I'm getting ready for someone to read it. So that's the reason why this is so important. Just like you're not going to leave your kid with any babysitter or expose them to certain types of people. This is kind of that same concept. It's in the same vein. Okay, I'm not trying to compare my book to a living, breathing child. What I'm saying is there's this sensitivity and love that you have for it, and there's also vulnerability that goes with it, and innocence that goes with it that needs protection. I really like that frame up that you just did for us there. So tell us, what is a dream stealer? Thank you. A dream stealer it's someone who is non-creative. These are usually, everyone is born with the innate desire to create. That's why we do it a lot in childhood, and we love it. That's our favorite time of the day, right? In kindergarten, first grade, if you can remember back that far. But getting those crayons out and coloring, doing puzzles, Play-Doh, any sort of creative activity when you're tapping into your left brain is something you just innately enjoy as a human being. And dream stealers are blocked creatives. That's all they are. But they are the enemy of creatives because at some point in their life, they were told that creating was a hobby. It was something that wasn't valid. And they bought into that lie, and so they stopped creating. And dream stealers become extremely agitated, angry, jealous, and resentful of those that they see still creating. It's like the little kids are out on the playground and one of them has been put in a timeout because, they're getting into fights on the playground or whatever. And they're up against a fence and they're having to sit there and watch the other kids screaming and playing and having a good time. Do you think that kid's sitting there thinking, wow, look at them. They're having a blast. I feel really good that my classmates are carrying on with their lives and having a good time. No, they've got their arms crossed. They're giving everybody the evil eye as they walk by. Anybody that asks, so how you doing? I'm not good. I'm not good. So it's that same type of scenario. Dream stealers are on the sidelines. Now they are doing it of their own volition, but they're still standing on the sidelines and they are scowling at those that are in the game, playing, creating, and many times, in fact, are going to trick those that are playing into coming over and talking to them and telling them how excited they are about what they're doing so that they can effectively squash it under the heavy weight of cynicism. That was a very powerful picture you just painted for us there. So what are some red flags you've got for dream stealers? Like, who's posing as a trusted confidant? What are some red flags that you've noticed that you can tell our viewers, our listeners? Yeah, red flags, they're always there. You just have to be aware of them. A big red flag is someone who is asking you about, they overheard you talking. You inherently already knew not to talk to this person, okay? But all of a sudden, they're interested in what you're doing. This is a person that before this moment in time was like, yeah, to everything that you said, every enthusiastic remark you've ever made. They just their eyes glaze over. They interrupt you 3 words in to either tell their own story or They suddenly become fascinated with how the Doritos are arranged in the bowl at the party you're at. It's that type of thing. So that's a major red flag, is someone actually petitioning you to talk to them about what you're doing. It's always a bad sign, okay? So this is a person that's trying to collect information now to take back to their Dreamstealer cave and formulate their villain plan to take you down. The second red flag is going to be someone that had a dream that they tried pursuing and it didn't go well. So they have cynicism right out of the gate. So they're not enthusiastic, as is I'm going to call the passive Dreamstealer. They're under the radar. You think passive aggressive? It's like that. They're under the radar. They're pretending, I really want to know. I'm so excited for you. Tell me more. This one is a more aggressive Dreamstealer. They're not really trying to cloak their cynicism. No, they're kind of waving it around like the big red flag, right? But you can't help but want to talk to them about it because you're trying to lift their spirits, that they too can forge ahead and start a new project. That's all it takes. So right out of the gates, they're just like, so tell me about this project. But they always link it to their failed one. The author so tell me about this agent you're pitching. That's going to be hard, right? I pitched like 5,000 of them. I finally got one and she sucks. But go ahead, tell me about your big hope and dream. It's going to be like that. Another red flag is someone who is constantly pushing being realistic on you. You just need to be realistic. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Just, this could flop. I don't want you to be heartbroken. They're overly concerned before the book is even written that it's gonna crash and you're gonna want to commit suicide afterwards. And I'm sorry to anybody that deals with this. I'm not trying to make fun of it, but this is how they behave. I've had it said to me, we're just afraid for you. We're afraid basically you're gonna want to take your own life if this doesn't work out. So they've always got to interject that net, that safety net. That's how they see it, like at the circus. You're up there, you're having a good time up on the high bar, whatever that thing is that goes across the circus. But you need this net down here just in case, because you're most likely, it's not just in case. More than likely, I even have the statistics. I Googled it. Your chances of succeeding are like less than 1%. It's like 0.1%, 0.01%. I'm sorry. It's not even close to almost possible unless you're the next J.K. Rowling, which I seriously doubt. She was the all-time best-selling author of all time, and you're not that good. So it's that type of thing where they're just really concerned for your safety. Then you're going to have the fourth one to look out for is the narcissistic collaborator. They're only interested in talking to you if they are somehow included in said dream. You're going to write my idea for me next, right? Right? Once you get this off the ground and you do all the legwork, you're going to write my idea for me and then we're going to be fucking rich together. They've always got this scheme. You're going to take me traveling with you around the world. You're somehow sharing this dream with them. It's like you went out to fucking dinner with a Groupon and you're just going to split it right down the middle, even though you're going to do all of the work. They bring nothing to the table other than their greedy narcissistic dream that they haven't taken the time to put any energy into. And so now they want you to fulfill it. So those are the four to look out for. What drives a Dreamstealer to do this to the creatives in their lives? Like, what is the reasoning behind wanting to crush their dreams? I've found the number one motive of Dreamstealers is to prove to themselves that nobody they know especially. This is why friends and family are going to be your worst enemy. I hate to say it. It's the worst. You need to be careful. Because if anybody in their life proves that they can make a dream come true, that immediately puts them in the loser section of life, in which they did not break past that original person, that teacher, that parent, that best friend, somebody in their younger years that told them singing, being a football player, being a rock star, whatever it is, whatever your dream was unrealistic and they believed it. And so they immediately chose, I'm going to go the safe route. I'm going to take all of my college classes, or even if they didn't go to college, I'm going to go to a trade school or whatever, become a nurse. I'm going to do something that I know is going to make money, that's going to put food on the table, which is an understandable thing to do. I am not negating that choice, especially with the times that we're living in, is having a foundation, because I'm still not making any money as an artist. And I put in a lot of hours. So you do need to have that. Okay, so it's a little intimidating for people. That's why I try and encourage people, being creative, it's not just about this final product. It really is about feeling better, okay? But a lot of people look at it that way. What am I going to get out of it? How much money am I going to make? And so there's a faulty thinking there that they assign to their creativity. And then, at the end of the day with your creativity, it's first and foremost to feel better. But then there is this shiny golden goose at the end that could happen. The egg, that gets you somewhere financially. But with that said, that's why Dreamstealers, that's their motive, is that if anybody in their immediate circle makes it, it's proof, it's evidence to them that they too could have had said thing, and their jealousy just gets the best of them. They devolve from a full-grown adult into a toddler who had their candy bar taken from them, and they want to snatch it out of your hand, even though it's your candy bar. Theirs they left melting on the bench back there, and because they see you with the candy bar now, they want theirs back, but they can't get it back. And so it's just this angry assault almost on those that are doing it. So that's their number one motive, is you're revealing that if you put in the time and the belief, anybody can achieve their dream. It is simply a goal that, as long as you keep walking towards it, at some point you're going to finish. You're going to cross the finish line. And that's just how it goes. Really well said, Amy. Thank you for that. When you've identified someone in your life as a dream stealer, how do you recommend we deal with it? The first thing is, do not confront these people. You're just going to go in circles with them, and it's going to burn up a lot of your creative fuel, and it's a waste. They have convinced themselves that they're right, and any sort of, but you could do it too. Don't do that. It just agitates them, okay? It's like, poking a shark in the face that's hungry. Just don't do it. Don't recommend. So what you're going to do, once you've identified someone as a dream stealer, you're just no longer going to discuss your creativity with them. Even if they ask, you just, oh yeah, it's in the works, it's whatever. Just back shelve it. It's not important. It's not up for discussion. And that's how you have to look at it, is you are now protecting your baby. Okay, you're protecting your child that is vulnerable and innocent and needs all that wonder and magic poured onto it, not a bunch of cynicism. And so you have to look at dream stealers are literally your enemy as a creative. And the only way to deal with them is with silence around your creativity. Do not share. Do not provoke. If they make nasty comments on social media on your posts, just delete them, unfriend them. But don't confront them, because to confront them is to start attacking their identity. Because at this point, especially at middle age, I just turned 52. At this age, people are so locked in now to this belief that there is no changing it. And in fact, it will only up the ante on them wanting to attack you and your creative projects. And it's already hard enough to make it as an artist. We don't need people that are locked and loaded coming for our projects. It just is unnecessary, and it's going to set up scenarios for you that it just makes things more difficult than they need to be, because they are already difficult. And any creative that's listening to this is nodding their head right now. Amy, I have some dream stealers in my family as well, and this is really excellent advice. I just learned a long time ago. You even hear it when I'm talking about my writing. I'm a hobbyist. It's because I had to keep saying that to get them off my back. I'm never going to seek publication. Don't worry. And if I do, it's just going to be self-published. You don't need to feel so threatened. So that's really valid advice. I just quit talking about it. Give us one personal story that involves this buzzkill on your creativity. Yeah, good. I'm glad that you are already applying this because it's important to identify them. I started doing that in my mid-20s because, this is discussed. I believe she calls them wet blankets in The Artist Way. Julia Cameron discusses being really careful of these types of people. So I started getting pretty thrifty with identifying them and then how I was kind of navigating around my language and the ideas that I was kind of bringing to the table with certain people. So I'm going to use my most recent, this last year of my life, in which I started taking these video content classes with Jesse Winyard. The name of the courses now is World Builders. And I took 3 years of content creation courses with him. And I started making video content again, short form. I had a YouTube up, my Ami Blackford YouTube, with longer form. It was like, I think at the time I could post 15 minutes and I always just freestyled, conversational style. I would have a topic and I would just talk to my viewers, my followers on there, just about different spiritual topics. And when I took the short form, because that's what he was teaching, and activating your voice and how to use your voice, I took short form content with him and started understanding the mechanics behind it and how I should be approaching each and every video. And I tightened it up. But I hadn't made video content in many, many years. So probably like 8 or 10 years. And during this time, I was sharing these videos on my social media, and an inner circle group of my friends decided, like, who does she think she is? Jesse actually warned us about this in class, that this was going to happen, but they did it so under the radar I didn't notice. And I had forgotten. I was sharing these clips with some of my best friends, and apparently they all got together and decided, like, who does Amy think she is? Like, what does she think she's better than us? They didn't really understand what I was doing, even though I explained it to them. This goes to show you, Dreamstealers, literally, it's almost like they blank out. They're not listening to anything you say other than, I have a dream and I guess I think I'm better than you because of it, even though that's not what you're saying. That's what they're interpreting. And so then they go to look at your creation to literally rip it to shreds. I believe Lance's sister, Laura, did this as well. She's always had an issue with me. And so there were just certain, and it's all females. All females did this. Key people in my life, my sister, Laura, they all just got together and decided, I guess I was getting a little too big for my boots, a little too big for my britches. And they didn't like that. Because prior to this happening, I was disabled, I was in the bed, I was having some mental health challenges, and they were kind of now used to me being down for the count. And all of a sudden, I'm perking up, I'm making video content, I'm starting to expand my artistic horizons, and they had all decided I was a failed writer, I was a failed illustrator, and I just wasn't going anywhere. So now they all felt very comfortable with me for the first time, apparently, ever. And they all settled into this. See, Amy proved that we made the right choice. They were very happy with this setup. Little did I know. And I let my guard down. And it's been vicious. It still hasn't stopped. They gossip about me to whoever will listen. And it's coming back to me. I spoke about this in Remote Attack. This is the motive I have discovered for Remote Attack. So anybody that's listening to this can go ahead and listen to that. It's the first podcast series that we did under Supernatural Stalkers. So I found that the motive, and it's been a big buzzkill. It made me push forward in my own art, but it's been a buzzkill on me putting it up on social media. They've crushed my social media. So if you're listening to this, help me out. Please like and subscribe. Go on my social medias. Give some of my content just some love, please. I don't normally ask for this type of thing, but I need to start doing it. So yeah, it's been a buzzkill because all of these people know I've been on this mission since I was 20. And so having them come after me in this manner, in this way, is extremely painful. It is. So anybody that's out there that might be going through this, where you had this dream and everyone around you pretended like they knew and they were on board and they were cheering you on. Meanwhile, they were really sticking a knife in your back and hoping that you failed epically. Not just failed, they want an epic fail. Just know that there's other creatives out here that understand, and it is painful. But you know what? The best vengeance is to be the most successful creative that you can be. First and foremost, use your creativity to make yourself happy and healthy, okay? And then the second thing is, show them what you got. Make it your priority to hone your craft. Hell, add a new craft in there just for funsies, okay? And when you do this, it's going to help you expand as an artist. So remember, no great artist ever was supported and people were cheering them on. It wasn't until they were famous that happened. So we're in that same boat. Amy, thank you for all of that. Next up, you're going to ask Sage about the number one dream stealer in her life. We want her to know she's in a safe space to open up. Hello, Sage. I know you were hesitant to discuss this for fear your dream stealer may be listening. I promise we won't mention names. Can you give us a little background into what happened that stifled your dream?
Hi, Amy. Yes, thank you for that bit of reassurance. I need to know that this is a safe space to open up, so I'm just going to trust that I'm in good hands right now. Oh goodness, I don't like discussing this, but maybe it'll be therapeutic for me. The background is you know about my candles and my dream of making candles, and I discussed this with the wrong fairy, the one we shall not name. I told her about my dream of having this candle shop on Etsy, and she told me I was going to need a driver's license to open this shop to prove my identity. And I said, okay, well then I'm going to go ahead and get this driver's license, whatever that is. I'm sure it will not interfere with my dream. And she insisted that I could not have a driver's license because, well, I would need to pass a driver's test, which apparently I need to be a human to do that. Now that is a steep hill to fly up. However, I believe, if you believe, and I know you'll agree, that it's not that steep for me to be able to fly up that hill, I don't think.
Oh, wow. Okay, I have not researched whether you actually need a driver's license to have a shop on Etsy. You did say Etsy, correct? I feel like that's what I heard. That is one of those. Okay, you're giving me a look. Never mind. You're right. There is no hill that is too steep. I'm not about to become a secondary dream stealer on you after getting you to come on the show to discuss this. So tell us how well did you know the fairy we shall not name? Sola, can you get her some green tea?
Amy, thank you for that. I was starting to feel a little bit of tension. Can you make that honeysuckle tea, please? I knew her since we were just baby fairies. We were tiny little dots. We were little baby fairies together. Our mothers were best friends, and so we were best friends. You know the story. In fact, if she had not crushed my dream like a human's foot on a daisy, I would have invited her to be my partner. That is what I wanted. She already has a shop, or she did, and I'm starting to think that's why she wanted to prevent me from my dream, is because hers, it got a little lost in the mix. She got a little careless, and so she was selling fairy water. I hope I'm not giving away her identity to anyone, but you need to watch out for her. She's the passive type of dream stealer. She pretends to want to hear And then once she hears it, she's also a nanny, and so she doesn't like that job very much. And so I think she's very agitated with my position here at your home as the garden fairy. You know, it's the Etsy was going to add to the dream, but I feel like I have so much space, and I love the rabbits, and there's more snakes than I would like. However, it is one step closer to me living my dream. Maybe you could open the Etsy shop. Force, you are human, and I'm sure you have one of these driver's license things, and maybe we could connect on that. There's some hope. Do you hear it in my voice?
I do hear the optimism in your voice. So yes, we can discuss this afterwards. After the show today, we'll discuss opening an Etsy shop for you. We can discuss what you want to call it to begin with. So tell me, Sage, how do you differentiate between someone giving honest feedback to you or someone who's looking to kill your dream?
You know, it's the look in their eye. It's almost evil. I don't like using that word, but I'm gonna use it here. There's an evil look in their eye. That is how you differentiate.
You're right. I've actually noticed that too. There's like a glimmer. It just kind of shines out at you like they have bad intentions. So what did it do to you emotionally after this happened?
I'm traumatized, and I don't just throw that word around casually. There is deep trauma, PTSD in fact. Even the rabbits have to watch out. I don't discuss what I want to do all that much anymore with anyone. Maybe the grass. I talk to the grass and trees because they don't crush dreams. They just sway in the breeze.
Well, that makes me sad. I hope you come to trust me to talk about your dreams, as you're doing here, talking about the Dreamstealer. So will you ever forgive this Dreamstealer? If so, would you discuss your visions with them in the future?
Well, that answer is simple. It's just one word. No.
This concludes tonight's episode. If you enjoyed our conversation, please give this video a like and hit the subscribe button. You can find information about Ami on Facebook and Instagram in the description box beneath this video.